Duty, a burden accepted not out of desire, but out of necessity. The path you walk alone, so others don't have to. This story is built on structure, on role passed down, expectation unspoken. A tradition so rigid, sometimes it forgets the heart inside it. The one who leads does so with restraint, not out of pride, but because there is no room for vulnerabilities. He holds himself apart, not to command, but to protect. He carries more than just a title. He carries silence, and beneath the silence, something heavier. The fear that he's holding a place that never meant to be his. The others weren't asked. They were born to this. They fight because they must. And yet, they stay. They aren't just loyal to a cause, they feel what isn't being said. They recognize that the silence for what it truly is, a sacrifice. Except for one. He wasn't bound by legacy. There was no duty waiting for him, but he saw the weight that his friend carried, and he chose to carry some of it too. He made himself matter, not by blood, but by choice. Because even when you aren't expected to stand, you still can. And sometimes that choice means more than any inheritance. This isn't about obligation. This is about the loneliness the duty creates. And the people who choose to stand beside it anyway. This is why I love Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. This is probably going to be next to the next two episodes of Why Do I Love that I'm actually going to give the show an introduction. So, welcome to Why Do I Love, a limited release series that lets me to rewatch and deep dive my favorite seasons of Rider, Sentai, and Ultra and review them in the veils of their themes. So, let's jump to Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. This show was really interesting, mainly with its very traditional Japanese themes of duty and inheritance. This show was head-written by Yosuke Kobayashi, someone that isn't new for Sentai. How much it's going to be a big spoiler, that name is going to be ringing out a lot more than what people think it's going to be, but having them come back after so many years of not hate writing Sentai, and the final one they hate wrote was Time Ranger, this kind of slightly revolutionary type of way of writing a Sentai show, coming back to it and actually like head writing a show with a very traditional Japanese themes was really great. But you know what? Everybody was kind of excited for it. With her knack to deep dive into protagonists, giving them a rich character development and full arc, while also greatly balancing the serious tone of a lot of her kind of work alongside with really funny comedic bits. You know what? I was kind of like surprised by it because like you can really see it. How much? Spoiler alert, her main issue would always be her villains. Shinkenger is about 5 people that inherit the duties of finding and protecting the Earth from the Gedoshu, with all 5 of them taking their inherent duties in different ways. Those 5 extraordinary heroes are Takeru, Mako, Chiaki, Kotaha, and Ryunosuke. They are the official Samurai Sentai, Shinkenger. Ryunosuke comes from, at least if we don't count Takeru, the most traditional upbringing, not only with his family telling him that he must serve his lord no matter what, but also being a kabuki dancer doesn't really help the fact that he is Takeru's biggest dick rider, which for some may appear to be a trait without a real reason. But as the slightly older person in the group that wasn't a Shiba and actually got to grow up with both of his parents, which it's not fully confirmed, but it is kind of hinted at, it kind of makes sense. With him being ultra loyal to the cause and actually getting some results, if it's by the Godosho actually starting to lose and getting recognition from Takeru, so of course he would be like that. But how much he is the very loud quote unquote second in command, he does to get to play and understand his duty. If it's him getting to earn the Kachiki origami with the help of one of the Kuroko, which actually like gets to be a character, which he doesn't help him just with that, but also he actually helps him to really choose between his inherent duty of serving his lord or helping Takaro, a man that he actually got to know, which Ryunosuke from the first half of the show wouldn't actually like super think about it because he mainly really started to understand that a title anyone can earn, but a friendship and trust you need to actually work for. And it really shows in the Shinken Brown episode where like a big, I think, white dude comes in and just decided to be a samurai. So he goes to like the Shiba house and asks from pretty much the rest of the Shinkengers to teach him. And Ryunosuke pretty much take that role. At first, pretty much as some sort of a punishment from letting him in. But when he actually gets to teach him and understand that the embodiment of a samurai, of the samurai spirit, is never really given up, and he really gets to at least start to appreciate him. He starts to see how much he kind of take it seriously, way more than anybody else. And it comes to the point of like, oh, that's genuine growth. And yeah, people would straight up point at Genta's first kind of small arc after he debuted as Ryunosuke's hatred towards Genta being him not being a real samurai, and everybody would point at Brown, and people say, oh, the difference is maybe because he didn't transform. But come on, it's like super obvious that Ryunosuke was just jealous of Genta. Like, it's so fucking odd that people just don't see that. He's genuinely jealous of him. Like, here comes this dude that is way faster, way cooler, made his own goddamn changer, made his own origami, and he's also a friend of my lord, and they actually get along, and he might take my place. It's way more him taking his place than anything else. But everybody kind of misunderstood that. But overall, like, as a character, Ryunosuke's all arc is about what happens when you stop taking your duties as rulebook and actually becoming more personal, more flexible, something that grows with you. And you see it in Ryunosuke. You see it in the way that he actually acts towards Takeru as the show goes on, the way that he interacts with Chiaki, and the way you see Ryunosuke kind of like way more becoming a quote unquote real person next to him, the way that he tries to help Kotoha, the way that he interacts with Genta, with them to actually kind of creating a real bond. His and Mako's relationship is kind of odd, but I genuinely loved it. Like, Ryunosuke is not the perfect Blue Ranger. He's not even the real second in command, but he was just a genuinely fun character. He was a bit over the top, but it worked. Mako is, in my opinion, still the best Pink Ranger out there. With her being the only responsible adult of the group, you could kind of say G was, but she was kind of the only one. She actually gets to at least try to help everyone. And with her being one of the only two that got to really question Takeru and wanted to see if she can actually follow him and she doesn't do it in the dickish manner that Chiaki was like really great. And finding the right reason to fight with him was amazing. while also her being a listening ear and really gets to help the team in their own way was genuinely amazing. She really got to help Ryunosuke like loosen up and make Chiaki understand that he can do better without trying to compete with Takeru. For Kotoha, like really installing confidence in her and actually proving to her that she's not alone and everybody's here to help her. And Takeru too, genuinely show his real side outside of his lord persona. And Mako kind of being this stark representation of how cruel this battle is, with her mom and dad leaving her when she was young. Specifically, her mother being the previous Shinkenger that was injured. And both of them felt ashamed of how she pretty much was, always asking for help, always kind of needing to do something, and she can't really do it on her own. So they pretty much fled to Hawaii without really saying goodbye to their young fucking daughter, which is actually insane. Which pretty much made Mako alone outside of living with her grandma, which led her to really lean into her try to be a samurai and truly getting to understand what she's really fighting for, which is not just to protect other, but protect herself. And it worked fucking fantastic because Mako's whole arc is about what happens when duty stops being something that you do for others and starts becoming something you accept for yourself. Not to fix the past, not to prove your worth, but to find peace in knowing you don't have to carry everything alone. That real strength isn't about standing tall, it's letting someone hold you when you stand tall. And that maybe is the truest part of duty, is learning when to reach for a hand instead of offering one. Like, Mako was fucking great. Again, I'm going to still say it, Mako is my favorite Pink Ranger for a reason. She was the truly second in command. She felt like a real suspenseful character. Like she felt like a real hero. She was fucking terrific. Everything about her, from the way she started off as kind of loving, but also like she was kind of harsh. But you see how much she really grows and she really gets to be the responsible adult of the team. And fuck, like that entire episode when her dad tried to actually like bring her to Hawaii with their parents and getting to see her really kind of hammering down this point of just like, hey, I'm not fighting only for other people, I fight for myself because this is what I want to do. It's really initializing your duty as your own and having that small but amazing scene between Mako and her mom pretty much telling her that, hey, when this battle is done, come with us. It was fucking fantastic. I love Mako so fucking much. And Chiaki was just this really fun character to really watch grow from this asshole slacker that to someone that you can actually trust. Like you can really see it in the beginning of the show from his physical mannerism, the way he speaks, that at some point he's going to get challenged. And I really like that it wasn't really Takeru beating it over his head throughout the show, but it really was him alone starting to understand that this battle is way too important to be a slacker. But because of his carefree attitude, he was the one that would actually question things, trying to get in the bottom of it. Even when he fight, he does it so differently, it really sets him apart from everyone. And it was so cool seeing him grow. In my opinion, Chiaki is kind of Kobayashi's like gold standard of actually like letting a character kind of slow brew to actual gradual character progression. Watching him from the beginning of the show to the end and seeing how much he grows from someone that rejects the forced upon samurai views to actually become one without really knowing it. It was fucking fantastic, which helped really well with bringing his dad in, which shows how much a perfect example he is, showing that he raised him to be the slacker, to be the it's fine, being still kind of a kid in heart. And seeing Chiaki dismissed his dad's action, seeing it as childish and reckless, and this represent what he doesn't want to be anymore was brilliant. And you really see it in Takeru's face. It's like, you've grown. Like, this was, like, in my opinion, brilliant. He, as a character, brought the best out of everyone. Chiaki is kind of weirdly the balanced of the team. Like, he's fucking great. Pretty much Chiaki's whole arc is about what happens when duty stops being something you're running away from and starts becoming something you run with it. Not because someone made you to, not because you were born to it, but because you chose it on your own terms. Duty didn't change who he was, it gave him a reason to grow. And that growth didn't erase the fire within him, it sharpened it. Because sometimes the strongest samurai is the one that gets there last, but gets there in his own way. And just Chiaki as a green next to pretty much the past greens that we had before, it worked. He was this slacker, slightly quote unquote comedy relief, but he actually got to grow. Having a slow bro character in Sentai is, you can say, not unusual, but it's been a while. At least from my memory. And to be honest, we need a character like Chiaki. Even today, I would have loved a character like Chiaki in, let's say, Bunbunger. That would have been fun. And Kotaha is genuinely, in my opinion, next to Mako. But I think she is slightly surpassing her to be, in my opinion, the best female ranger we actually got in the past couple of years. Her story of not really fitting in, but still being the true heart of the team, with her taking the place of her sister, feels like everybody takes it lightly on her. And she's being overprotective while she doesn't understand how much she's a core part of the team than what she actually thinks, with her being the only one that actually gets to really help almost every member of the team, if it's in the way of centering Mako, reaching out and trying to help Chiaki, helping Genta. How much at first it didn't really work that well, but they at least fixed it in the Golden Curry episode. While her biggest connection was with Takeru, with both of them taking the role of someone else, how much at first he was a dick to her, calling her useless and almost like he's projecting himself onto her. But as the show went along, she got more committed and gained more confidence. They kind of got closer, and most of Takeru's most human moments come from interactions with her. Kotoha's whole arc was about what happens when duty stops feeling like a weight that you're not strong enough to carry, and it starts becoming something you grow into. Not because you're told you're ready, but because you choose to believe it. She didn't step in expecting to shine. She did it out of love, out of guilt, out of the need to be enough. And over time, she learned that her quiet strength, her care, her presence, was the glue that held everybody together. Kotoha didn't need to shout to be important, she needed to stand tall, because sometimes the heart of the team is the one that never thought that they deserved to be in there, but stayed anyway and proved that she did. Kotoha was fucking brilliant. She was goofy, she was quirky, but you really feel the heart in it. You feel how much everybody kind of grew alongside her and kind of almost because of her. She was genuinely fun. She was genuinely entertaining. She genuinely helped herself and the rest grow so fucking well. I genuinely love Kotoha. And then there is Genta. As the extra ranger of the team, he worked on multiple different levels. At first, he was very extra. Literally, he pretty much around slightly the beginning and pretty much after his debut, pretty much became the comedy relief of the show. But he also brings with him not only one of the best debuts of a six in the franchise, while his backstory being interconnected with Takeru, with them being neighbors as kids, and they became best friends. And when Genta needed to leave, he promised him that at some point he's going to return, and they're going to become samurais, and they're going to fight together. And having young Takeru believe it so much, he gave him the squid disc was really cool. And him keeping up to that promise. Genta, with him not only becoming a sushi chef, but also a swordsman, but at the same time also learning to write the scriptures and digitizing it was like genuinely amazing. And then you discover that he made his own origami that works with the rest was like really fucking cool. And I like that his entire rejection arc from the team was just an episode, barely that. And Mako being the one that smoothed it over with everyone was fucking great, and a great use of Mako as a character. And pretty much from that on, Genta pretty much became the most reliable member of the team, from him fixing the black box and making the super disc and pretty much helping the team gain their upgrade while also making his own upgrade in Dayusuke, literally making a lantern gain consciousness and like actually like become not only like a weapon and a body, but also like, some sort of a way for Genta to help him balance the playing field with the Shinkenger. Like, overall, as a character, he was genuinely fun. I think he didn't got that much time to develop. How much the Golden Curry episode was genuinely fun, but also like I really feel like he's one of the most misunderstood and misremembered character because people really look at the Golden Curry, but if you think about it, was fucking fantastic. Literally helping the team and a nurse to find a sick kid that the Godoshu kidnapped. Like, Genta's whole arc was about forging your duty from your choice, not from expectation, not being born into legacy, not be bounded by tradition, but still stepping in. Loud and proud and determined to matter. He doesn't inherit his place, he earns it through promise, through passion, through tenacity. He's the friend that never forgot, the outsider that made himself indispensable, the craftsman who carved his own space beside the warriors born into theirs. Because sometimes duty isn't something you are handed, it's something you build. One promise, one fight, one sushi roll at a time. Genta was genuinely a fun, entertaining, and just kind of fun light that the latter half of the show really needed. So Genta kind of came in as this warrior that was powerful enough, but also could be goofy. But when he needs to be serious, he could. And it worked. I wish he was more developed, but to be honest, he came in maybe slightly too late. But he still made a great imprint on this franchise and on this season. And Hikuma was like a genuinely fun character that acted as the pseudo mentor of the team. Which, to be honest, never really felt like, oh, he needed to be the mentor. He was kind of like a father figure. He was there kind of help the team, but not to guide them. He, like the rest of the cast, fell into the pitfall of duty over everything that most of the cast had, with him never really getting to see his family. Like, having the team wanting to help him to at least reunite with his daughter and his son-in-law and his granddaughter was genuinely great. And being also like Takeru's surrogate father, like, was amazing because we actually like got to see more of Takeru's like human side. You can see through Hikuma that Takeru is kind of still a kid, and he's kind of this stark kind of representation of how cruel this entire thing is, and it worked beautifully because like you see like small interactions with them that you see that Hikuma really tries to at least cheer him up way more than anything else, and it's just beautiful. Like, I love him. He was a genuinely nice Finn. He was genuinely a great character to have with the cast, which I love that they never really tried to make him the mentor of the team. Not like how Power Rangers did it. Oh boy. Oh, let's not talk about that. Before I hit the main protagonist of the show, let's actually discuss the villains. Which, for most of them, I don't really have a lot to say. Mainly because our main villain, aka Dokugu, just kind of sat around and did nothing except like drink sake. Like, he looked like a threat, and damn, like around the pretty much couple of last episodes of the show, he was really shown to me one. The problem is, for a good portion of the show, the guy did jack shit. Like, I could say the same with Bones. He did interact more with the outside world outside of the Zenzu River, but he didn't really contribute as much. And he was just kind of weird, and he disappeared. I don't know, like, his entire end kind of felt very anticlimactic. While Dayu being half human, half Gidoshi was kind of cool, and having her backstory shows that everybody can become a Godoshu, with her turning point was burning the wedding of a man she fell in love with. But outside of that, she didn't really do a lot. Like, there was a weird setting up of a rivalry with Mako, which led to her death, which like could have worked better if they really tried to connect them two, but it felt like, oh, Mako is the main kind of like female character that is not Kaho, and like she's more emotionally, I may say, mature enough to battle Dayu, and she's almost like the Josu counterpart. But I don't know. This is the first time and the only time, to be honest, that I'm going to say this. Power Ranger Samurai did it better. Like, I don't know, because it actually did really connect her story to Akuma, which, outside of his main goal of opening up the gates of hell and being kind of a fun character, he was mainly a big build-up to arguably the best villain of the show, being Josu, a man that got corrupted by the Urosama Blade, which was supposed to be Akumaro's key to open up hell on Earth, but Josu before that went a little genocidal with it, which was kind of a part of the plan. But Josu as a character was an amazing mirror to what Takeru needed to see. A man fighting alone for that long without anyone behind him made his want, made his beliefs, made his duty warped, which was showed amazingly after Takeru pretty much was relieved of his duties of being the fake Shiken Red. They got to re-meet each other after Josu pretty much got revived, and pretty much Takeru kind of said, okay, let's fight. And we see how much Takeru and Josu were almost on the same side of the coin. Like, that was brilliant. Having the Uromasa, like having Josu's wife, stop him and then have Takeru kill him was great. You know, it was better than just, having Kevin kill him. I fucking hate samurai. I don't know. But the villains in Shinkenger were built up to feel imposing towards a threat from another world, but for most of the show they kind of stood still. Dokaku kind of like brewed in the shadow, bones wandered with. Oh wait, Dayu, despite her tragic past, never quite became more than just a loose thread. Her rivalry with Mako just felt way more symbolic than actually earned. But Josu, as a lone swordsman, not only consumed by evil but an obsession, was great. He was a great version of what Takeru could become if duty turned inward, if pain became the only purpose, if he fought alone, believed only in his blade, and doing so becoming the show's most haunting reflection in this story about responsibility and connection. He was the warning of what happens when you carry everything by yourself. And then there is Takeru, my favorite raid of all time, which I don't believe is a controversial pick, but watching him open up and grow not only as Shinken Red and a leader, but also as a person, a friend, and a surrogate son was like genuinely masterful work. Watching him in the beginning of the show being cold, standoffish, and kind of a dick to a person that would absolutely fight with and for the people that he can actually call his family. And seeing him opening up, slowly showing more and more of his real self in front of everyone was a treat. His interaction with Hikuma not only shows his quote-unquote human side, but also that he is still a kid that was forced to be a shadow, and having his story be about discovering who you truly are and breaking down barriers to connect to others worked really well. His interaction with Kotoha, being a dick to her, calling her useless, to be angry at himself for almost letting her die. Mako, which really gets great moments with him for most of the times, being the voice of reason that really tries to get to him. And he was the first one that actually kind of showed more of himself too. His really fun relationship with Genta, even most of the time being dismissive of Ryunosuke, was like genuinely funny, and having him watch Yaki grow while helping him change and from time to time throw comments about how much he changed was amazing. And all of that to the reveal of him not being the real 18th Lord and not being a real Shiba with Kaho appearing and taking his place was amazingly done. And having it kind of feel like there was some of weight relieved from his shoulder, and seeing how much he kind of doesn't know what to do now was really interesting, because like if you think about it, he was forced on that life and now he has literally nothing else to do. So literally when he and Juso just cross path after Juso kind of like searched for him, they started fighting because that's the only thing both of them kind of know. And having not only G but also the rest of the team help to center him was great, alongside Kao, which like as a character kind of felt not that important if you really think about it, but she really helped to kind of centralize what Takeru is. Takeru is not a traditional samurai. He's someone that was born into that life not to actually do it. And having her adopt him and making him the 19th Lord was genuinely a great emotional moment. How much, to be honest, it did kind of made it funny that she adopted him, and and now this 20 something year old kid needs to call a 17-year-old girl his mom. I don't know, it was kind of funny. But yeah, Takeru's arc was about the cost of borrowed duty, what it means to carry a weight that was never meant to be yours, and how much it shapes you when you do it anyway. He wasn't pretending to be a lord, he became one, not through blood, but through burden, through silence, through sacrifice. He led not because he was chosen, because there was no one else that could. But once the truth came out, once the mask was off, what's left? Takeru's journey was about answering that question, about discovering who you are. When the tile fades and realizing that the bond you build, the people that chose to follow you, didn't do it because of the name you carried. They did it because of you. Because in the end, Takeru didn't inherit this place, he earned it. And doing so, he reminded us that real leadership isn't born out of duty, it's born out of understanding, from trust, from love, from quietly and fiercely lived. Takeru as Red was absolutely amazing. He is a character pretty much made all of our hearts grow 10 sizes bigger, understanding that in the end he was supposed to be just a shadow to Kao, which as a character was really interesting because like she was cold. She didn't know really what to do. She never really learned how to be in a team, but she was way more respectful of the team that fought for pretty much the past year. She understood what they suffered from. She understood that maybe she is way more of the replacement than Takaru is. And she saw that and she understood that. And seeing Takeru grow and seeing how much he changed from episode to episode and how much he opened up to the team and how much the team opened up to him was fucking incredible. And it's great to see so many people slowly and slowly turning to Takeru and saying he's one of the best Reds that Sentai had. And knowing that there was this fan appreciation, knowing that his actor got stiffed in payment, literally living by water, was absolutely amazing. When I came back to this show, to this rewatch, I started with rose tinted glasses, with Samurai Sentai Shinkenger being my first Sentai that I actually got to watch week to week. Which now I can say I was pleasantly surprised how great and how amazing this show is. It's not perfect. The main issue of the show are the bad guys. But for the pitfall that the bad guys are, in exception to Juzo, everything about it is fucking fantastic. From the core cast of characters and their interactions within the team, but also the outside world, the day to day character. Like, the day to day episodes feel really alive and the world feels lived in. It actually gave us to really know the characters and the people that really live in this world. The fight scenes were amazing. I still am in love with all of the mechs. Even fucking Samurai Haho, for the fucking giant mess it is, but it's fucking amazing. From the music, from the OST, to the opening, to the ending song, they were fucking fantastic. Which I genuinely forgot that Genta was never in the ending song. At least Sakito got a bubble. Overall, this show was amazing at showing us character development of 6 people that find their way in their battles against their own duties, while finding their own way in those. Because duty, it's not just about tradition, it's a weight, it's silence. It's that promise you made when you were too young to know what it really means, but you carried it anyway. I can genuinely still remember watching Shinkenger week to week. Like, genuinely being surprised, genuinely being happy, genuinely enjoying each and every moment as pretty much the second Sentai that I've ever watched. Like, I was able to see those characters grow in each and every episode. I got to grow kind of with them. Takeru carrying a burden that he was never meant to hold, Genta stepping in with nothing but a promise and a dream, Mako, Chiaki, Ryunosuke, Kota, each learning that duty isn't just inherited, but it's something that defines you, something that you grow into, something that shapes you, something you can share. And maybe that's the thing that stuck with me with all these years. Shinkenger helped me understand slightly more about samurai and traditional Japanese value, but it also taught me that legacy isn't just about names and titles. It's about what you give to other and who you become when no one's watching. It's about the weight you carry and the people who helps you lift it. This is why I love Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of this brand new series for this channel. I really hope you enjoyed it. This is kind of a way for me to do the introspective kind of like reviews that Legacy of Ultraman has. The bits of was it trash kind of in-depth kind of overall show talks, but kind of do it more personally. I'm excited for the next episode of Why Do I Love, because to be honest, I kind of want to reveal it, but I will reveal it probably in the end. But I genuinely loved sitting down and rewatching Shinkenger since it was airing. So yeah, like if you watched Shinkenger, tell me, comment below, let me know. When you watched it for the first time, if you watched it like me week to week, was it a little bit later? Did you discover it because of Power Ranger Samurai? Please comment. I would love to know. If you haven't helped your subscribe button achieve its true goal of becoming a subscribed button, please do. Don't forget, you're the only one that can prevent forest fires. And you know what? How much the next big video that I'm going to do is it's not going to be in the Why Do I Love series, but the next episode. We're going 25 years into the past. We're going back to when Ryder hit the Heisei era for the first time for real. We're going to talk about why do I love Kamen Rider Kuga. So, thank you very much for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.